Hey, with Eldora's chess, today I have a really frustrating and very difficult tactic depending on your level. But beginner experts all welcome in this tactic, but this tactic will will be if you're a beginner you will learn something, and if you're an expert you will learn something. But if you're a super gem you will learn nothing. So let's start the tactic. So let's analyze first. We can see that white has material disadvantage and it's quite big. White has only one pawn for two minor pieces. So white really has to do something before it goes to an end game where the black king is safe. We can see that even though white has two minor pieces of the board, white has a white king and has white has a white king that is safe, and black has a black king that is not safe. And in chess, it's all about checkmating your opponent in the end of the day. So uh, we have to think, what is our first move? And the first move, most bit tactics, we're gonna check the checks, or we're gonna check the captures. And in this one, it's just one move that fights for advantage, and uh, that wins the game. So in this variation, black is forced to take with the queen, because if black takes with the pawn, the game is over. So you can see black position is also very difficult. And this position, I'm going to give you a tip, and if you don't want it, you can solve it on your own now. So this is the tip. Now we have a knight here, and how are we gonna save the knight? We're gonna use the weak king of black to save our knight. And now we have to play an amazing move. But to play this amazing move, you have to calculate 5 to 6 lines. Yeah, I'm not kidding. To make this work, if you want to be sure without instinct, you have to calculate it out, and you have to maybe calculate 6 to 7 lines. Uh, so in this move, which piece do you have to move to win the game? And it's the only move that fights for advantage and lets you win the game. So this tactic just gives me nightmares. But it's not with the knight; it's with the rook. And now everything comes together. We see the black king, the black queen has only two viable options, because in other squares she gets taken, and black doesn't have time to take our knight, because then the game is over. So black has two viable options. So now we have to calculate every line with the two options. You probably did it before doing the rook lift, because it gets quite complicated. So let's say you do the easiest first. Let's say black queen goes here. Now we have this beautiful move that saves this white knight. And the move we have to find is not this, because we don't have a checkmate, because black is defending the pawn on g7. The move we have to find, the amazing move, this move. It opens up the queen for attack on the king, and if black tries to be fancy and tries to take the knight, the game is lost, because now you have a queen and two rooks against all the pieces on the back rank, and black king is going to be checkmated. But then we have to also calculate, what if the white queen gives you play this move. There's not many options for the black king for black, but let's say black gives check, and now you have to calculate what comes after we move. Let's say black makes let's say another good move. Oh, black takes the knight. Then it's still a problem, because white as now a very easy game, just checkmating the black king. Let's say here it's going to be very easy. The engine confirms it. But what? So so that's not an option for black. So now we have to calculate again. What if the queen went to e7? And now we have to calculate also 3 or 4 lines. So in this position, you have to play the amazing move, the move that instantly wins the game. And now knight to f5 is possible. And now it is becoming a mess. Because let's say you have a tempo on the queen and you're attacking. So this is a theme of this tactic. You want to move your knight where it's always attacking something. Let's say black moves the queen. Because remember, if black survives this, he will win every possible endgame. Because he's up 2 minor pieces or 1 minor piece. And that's a story. So let's say black makes the normal looking move, because let's say he goes here, then you have a checkmate. So the black queen has to defend this pawn. You go here. That's the most natural and the move that defends the best. Then you have to find another move that wins the game. And there are 3 moves here, but we want to win the game fast because we already calculated so much. Then we have to find the amazing move again with the knight. Knight g7. It doesn't stop. The knight, black wanted to kill the knight, but the white knight is the most annoying piece. And now it all falls apart. The defending g7 pawn, black king doesn't really does not have any defenders, and black is going to be checkmated, and it's hopeless because let's say we put on the engine. Engine says knight here. We just go for material. It's just hopeless. There's checkmates looming all around, and it's just a hopeless position. You can analyze it for yourself, but you can see just this doesn't feel right. Also, the rook is cutting off the king, is splitting the king, so the king never has time to free itself. But this is just torture for black. Also, a move that helped was maybe this, but every line there's like 20 lines here to checkmate, or 20 lines to go for material advantage. But the thing I want you to remember is, when you have this kind of position, it's very complicated and there's a lot of lines. But what you actually have to do is find the most forcing move. So take the knight. Black has to take with the queen, because with the pawn checkmate. And now when you play this move intuitively, or you calculate it out, wherever black goes, you can see you have the initiative, and you just try to look for 2 weaknesses. The checkmate weaknesses and the tempo weakness. You keep black busy. He has to move his queen all the time, because wherever the king goes, the knight is there to attack it, because the queen doesn't have many space. The queen likes a lot of squares, but the queen is very contained, and there's always this checkmates looming, or this weak king, and that's what I want you to remember of this tactic. And I hope you don't get nightmares of this tactic, because this tactic gave me a lot of nightmares.